Out there in America, I was only what you made me. Young, black, impoverished. I was dying inside.
After Big E's death, Bad Boy skyrocketed.
It took just a few years for Sean Puffy Combs to move from record company intern to one of the most successful producer entrepreneurs in music history.
Combs got into an argument with someone. One of Combs' associates, 19-year-old Jamal Barrow, also known as the rapper Shyne, opened fire, while Combs reportedly pulled out a pistol of his own.
I couldn't make bail. Puff wouldn't pay my bail. He was convicted.
Maybe he even wants to be sorry, but he's so much of a creep. And like when he say God is great, I think he's talking about himself.
Then I opened my eyes.
During his teenage years after his mother divorced his father, who would later become the Prime Minister of Belize, Jamal Michael Barrow, better known as Shyne, he and his mother moved from Belize to Brooklyn, New York. Shyne worked regular low-profile jobs in Brooklyn, including bike message deliveries. Along the way, he was trying to get into the music industry. One particular day after hearing Shyne rap, a friend from a local barber shop would make some calls, and eventually that call would end up in Chris Lighty's office. Shyne had a clear vocal resemblance to Biggie, and his hype was growing quickly.
Hustler, bad motherfucker, Brooklyn to the rock, Cali and back.
When I heard Shyne, my first impression was, okay, he sounds a little bit like Big.
I'm a niggas wanna be a straight G. Everybody that heard me wanted to sign me. I think Chris called Diddy. Somebody called Diddy and started talking crazy, like, I got this kid, Shyne. Oh my goodness.
The exact words was, I do know we can go to Def Jam, Manny, and we get 4 million, 5 million right now, but Puff Daddy is Michael Jackson. I'm like, what do you mean? He said he's the biggest shit, he's the hottest shit right now. Yeah, I might get less money, but that's where I want to be.
Shyne's early days when Puff was shopping, the whole thing, Shyne wasn't going nowhere but the Puff. They were made for each other. Everybody wanted him. But I knew that at the end of the day, the best person for him was Puff.
Shyne lived in the same house with me. He was a young rapper, he was from Brooklyn, signed to Bad Boy.
Man, who is this guy that's, trying to sound like the late, great Christopher Wallace? And by the way, when you talk to Shyne, you realize he was not trying to sound like Big. That's just the way he actually sounded, which is probably one of the reasons that Puffy gravitated towards him to begin with.
Their tone came from the same place. And so you thought they sounded alike, you thought they were alike. They were two different people. They had two different voices.
Signing to Bad Boy, obviously I got a big check, I became a millionaire. Again, you don't have anybody telling you what to do when you get $1 million, how to spend $1 million. It's a drug dealer's mentality. Hip hop is founded on the drug culture. They all dress like drug dealers, like that's where that comes from. First person I went to Jacob, I bought an Audemars Piguet and a platinum Rolex. And I got a Mercedes Benz and a Range Rover.
Instantly, he goes from Brooklyn to Hollywood, like instantly. So it was like one day he's, in Flatbush, the next day he's at the Trump Hotel.
Eating expensive meals in 5-star diamond hotels, presidential suite, private jets, bam, 0 to 100 one day.
When Shyne arrived at Bad Boy Records in 1999, his presence immediately disrupted the Bad Boy atmosphere. Maze, who was the star at the label at the time, felt like Shyne wasn't giving him enough respect, and later Shyne was hitting on his girl Brandy, which created a lot of tensions between them.
And so that caused like a whole thing at Bad Boy. Puff was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, yo.
Life could be worse. Think about it. It could be worse.
Like, you just got to the team. This is the MVP. Like, how you gonna be going after his girl? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're screwing up my dynasty here. Like, come on. You're messing up the franchise.
Biggie's group, the Junior Mafia crew, didn't like Shyne from the very start, since they felt Shyne was trying to sound like Biggie, which was very disrespectful in their point of view. Eventually, it all reached a melting point where shots were fired outside of the studio when Shyne was shot by associates of the Junior Mafia crew.
You know, some things happened. Some of the people from my camp felt the way about the sounding like the big thing and all that. And one thing led to another, and some things that happened. Little altercations, shots that rang out.
Shyne also got into a confrontation with the Outlaws at the 2000 Source Awards.
Well, you know, when the whole East Coast, West Coast thing was like in its peak, we automatically making him our enemy because he was Bad Boy, but at the same time, he has nothing bad to say about Pac. He loved Pac, he respect Pac, you know what I mean? He ended up meeting Bone years later. So we was at the one of the Source Awards, and we was deep, bro. We had the homies from Jersey, we had homies from Compton, from LA, and we had these red and white Outlaw shirts on, so when you just see us coming, like 40 deep, and we looking for trouble, sniping a lot, you know what I mean? We had that mindset where we looking for trouble. And I happened to look over, like I was sitting in the aisle seat, and I happened to look over, but I got a lot of respect for Shyne because of this. And I happened to look over and seen Shyne, he was by himself, he was just with a female. And so I looked at him, he looked at me, said, "What's up?" Said, "What's up?" And I got up, and the whole squad got up and started mouthing off. The security is there, so we can't really do much. And the reason why I got a lot of respect for Shyne, because he stood up. You know what I mean? He ain't back down. He was by himself with a lady. And we couldn't get to him. I tried to get to him. The security was like backing us up. So, you know what I mean? I spit at him. You know what I mean? And he did it back. He did spit at us. You know, so it was getting heated. It really was about to go down. I remember Bone. You know, Bone tried to get him from this side, but the security was stopping everything. But from that day on, I really had a lot of respect for him, you know what I mean? Years later, I spoke to him, years later. But you gotta respect people that have courage.
Shyne already made enemies in the industry, including people from his own record label. One of the people who he became friends with was Anthony Wolf Jones, who was a bodyguard at Bad Boy Records. Shyne's debut album was released in September 2000. His voice and cadence were immediately compared to Biggie, which helped and hurt his album.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, I bang. What you think all the guns is for?
Helped because curiosity was enormous and hurt because expectations were unrealistic. His album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard charts, eventually earning gold certification. 3 months after his album release, he was involved in a New York club shooting, and that's when things really went downhill.
Shots rang out in the packed dance club. 3 people hit the floor with injuries.
One of Combs' associates, 19-year-old Jamal Barrow, also known as the rapper Shyne, opened fire, while Combs reportedly pulled out a pistol of his own.
And we're moving through the crowd.
It got real crowded. Puff and Jennifer Lopez and all them started to file out at VIP. The club bouncer was, you know, pushing people out of the way. And when they got up to the bar, they pushed this one guy.
Scar's like, "I'ma effing kill you," and they throw money into him, and then Scar looks over to me and is like, "Shyne, you sure you want to be a part of this? You holding him down? You won't go against us for him?" And then the guy that I had shot, Julius Jones, you know, reached for his weapon. And that's when I reached for my weapon.
And then you hear pop, pop, pop.
New York City police are questioning entertainers Shyne "Puffy" Combs and Jennifer Lopez following a shooting at a nightclub.
Puff got bailed out, Wolf got bailed out. But instinctively, I think his lawyers advised him that, yo, you know, you gotta stay away from this guy.
I want to make this 100% clear. I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club.
He made everybody believe that it was Shyne's fault. Man, this dude looked me in my face and he said, "I hate this motherfucker. Don't let nobody take pictures of me and this motherfucker. I hate him." And I was like, "Yo, what?"
In another development today, Natanya Rubin, who was hit by a flying bullet during the shooting, criticized the media for focusing on Combs and Lopez rather than the victims.
Shyne's lawyer and Puffy were working together.
It was clear that, you know, Murray was throwing the case. All the witnesses came in there to acquit and vindicate Puff, and people are talking about me in a way that's like I was not defending myself. And my lawyers did nothing to try to make that point. We called no witnesses to try to make that point that I could recollect. It was just like, it was I was mortified. I couldn't believe. And I said it's on record. I went to the judge a few times asking to change my lawyers, asking to, call a mistrial so that I can get a new lawyer because he was deliberately throwing the case.
If convicted, Sean Combs faces up to 15 years in prison.
Sean Puffy Combs has hired an all-star team to defend him against gun possession charges.
Now guilty! Now guilty! Now guilty!
Puffy got acquitted and he got 10 years.
He was convicted. He was going to jail. And he was all alone.
Thank you for your prayers. You're giving me support. The people of New York, just when I'm walking in the streets, just telling me to keep my head up. And I'm just so grateful today. And my whole family.
What about Shyne, Mr. Combs?
I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Couldn't go to the studio, didn't have contact with anyone. Only person I had contact with was Wolf. I think BMG was gonna drop me. And I think Wolf is the one, I know Wolf is the one that told him, you can't do that. You can't do that to him. Like, just can't do it. You gotta give him an opportunity to make his music.
I wound up getting locked up, and I had to go to Rikers Island. They put me in the same building as Shyne. And they wasn't gonna send me there at first, because they thought we still had issues. The officer was like, you know what? I don't care if y'all kill each other. I'm gonna let you go up there. Y'all say y'all cool, y'all cool. That was my brother after that. I went back to my whole team and was like, yo, whoever feel away about Shyne, that shit is like, we letting that shit go.
I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to be a tough guy. But I had to do the things that I had to do. In that club that night, I had to pull my gun out. I didn't pull it out and wave it around and say, somebody want a piece of me. Somebody was trying to pop my head off. Overall, like I said, I put that into a box of destiny. All of that stuff was meant to happen.
Shyne was sentenced to 10 years and left to rot in prison, while Puffy did everything possible to save only his own skin and ignored Shyne entirely. Diddy buried and abandoned Shyne similar to Craig Mack previously. Later Def Jam signed Shyne, where he released his second album from prison. Godfather Buried Alive was released in 2004 under Def Jam Recordings. It sold over 500,000 copies, achieving gold status. He converted to Orthodox Judaism while serving his prison sentence and officially changed his name to Moses Michael Levi Barrow. He was released from prison in 2009 and was deported to his home country of Belize, where he focused on rebuilding himself.
You know what I'm saying? When I came out, the records was trash. I admit that. You did, because I lost my voice. I got 5 XXL covers. These dudes is new. They knew Jack. They knew on the scene. I don't got nothing to prove. Like, I'm good. The game ain't no gangster rapper. He's a dude with a butterfly on his face and a tongue ring. That's what they said he had. Well, he used to be a stripper.
This little bustin' name game on rhyme like Poe, so rhyme like go. Rhyme like Poe, I rhyme like I'm hopping at the Lambo.
Like, these dudes is frontin', man. When Shyne was selling 1 million records, where was Rick Ross? Where was Robert? Robert was guarding somebody's jail cell in Miami.
So what's the situation with you and Diddy? I thought you guys made up. You flew to Paris. You guys were watching a fashion show together.
He pretends to be sorry. Maybe he even wants to be sorry. But he's so much of a creep. He just can't find that part of himself. Like when he say God is great, I think he's talking about himself.
He was stuck because he didn't know what to do with himself. All he knew was the music industry. It took, I don't want to say courage in me, but finally I said, Shyne, that part of your life is gone. You have so many other attributes to you. You're not Shyne, bad boy Shyne. You're not Shyne the musician. You're Shyne with so many other different dimensions to you that you haven't even tapped into.
Even though his father played a role in him being elected as party leader, the reality is that Shyne did the groundwork himself.
I think Shyne has benefited from nepotism.
When he puts his mind to something, he is going to follow through. And he's put his mind to
to this job of being a politician, this job of being the leader of the opposition, and hopefully the prime minister.
Because I come from the mud.
Just, you know, I'm in my bag right now, crazy. I got my brother here. Y'all see him, the leader of opposition in Belize, my brother Shyne. We'll be getting to that later.
Shyne quickly rose to power in politics and became the leader of the opposition in Belize. In 2022 BET Music Awards, Shyne and Diddy performed together on stage, then the following year in London, they reunited again. As all the allegations against Diddy emerged, Shyne distanced himself, but the damage was done already. Shortly after the Diddy trial went viral, he lost the re-election seat in the Belize House of Representatives in 2025. Following his defeat, he also announced his decision to resign as the leader of the opposition and leader of the UDP, as party rules state the leader must hold a seat in the House. Shyne paid the ultimate price of 10 years of his life, but in the end, he's one of the few people who managed to survive Diddy.